In the final phase of the Second World War, Don found himself stuck at a crossroad after having his tank crippled by a mine. Kunas tried to perform repairs, but it was to no avail. An SS battalion was spotted heading their way, and though the crew wanted to flee, Wardaddy stood his ground. They had been through hell today, and this tank was his home. He would not abandon it. Earlier today, Wardaddy and several other tanks had a ferocious fight with German forces who were dug in amongst the tree line. Their infantry followed in columns behind the steel behemoths. The Germans were shred to pieces. Their infantry stood no chance. The American tanks kept on rolling closer as they gave the Germans no room to breathe. Those in the trenches were slaughtered as well, and a well-hidden anti-tank gun tried its best to take out enemy armor. Once it had been spotted though, it did not take long before blasting it to bits. The tanks and infantry took care of the leftovers, until the German soil was soaked in the blood of its fellow countrymen. They are sights one does not easily forget. But Wardaddy had seen it many times, and it made him battle-hardened and war-torn. But his newly appointed assistant gunner Norman had seen too little. He was not bred for the hardships of war. After the battle earlier today, Wardaddy forced Norman to execute an unarmed captured prisoner. Norman refused again and again, but Don insisted, as killing would be a necessity, and he needed a guarantee Norman would do his part. Then, crumbling under the pressure, Norman shot the begging soldier. Ideals are peaceful. History is violent. Every one of the crew was exhausted. It had been a long, rough day. Victories were met with setbacks, but none were so severe as the Tiger encounter mere moments earlier. There were rumors that no more Tigers were around, but those were false. The German beast ambushed Wardaddy and the other tanks, and quickly rid itself of Peterson's Sherman. Davis and Don proceeded to take the Tiger head-on, as it reloaded for another kill. Shots of each tank missed or ricocheted. As they outnumbered the German tank, Wardaddy and Davis split up to flank it. But the Tiger had set its eye on Davis's tank, and took it out with a devastating blow. Then in a final duel, Fury was victorious, as it punctured the Tiger's armor. The tank was a sitting duck, and Don ordered his tank to go around and finish the job as the crew inside burned alive. Though they won the battle, they took heavy losses. Both Peterson and Davis were gone, and Wardaddy's Fury was all that was left. And now, they had nowhere to go, but the crew would stand by their leader and hold off the incoming battalion until their last breath. They headed back in and prepared for the worst. Close to nightfall, the SS arrived as they marched across the countryside while singing. Their morale was high, unknowing of the ambush that lay in wait. When they were close enough, Wardaddy and his crew opened fire. The Germans, caught by surprise, desperately dove for cover as they got mowed down in hordes. They started to return fire, but Fury punished them with a deadly salvo of machine gun fire and shells. Don took charge of the mounted machine gun as he mowed down every SS he could lay his eyes on. The SS were completely overwhelmed as blood, body parts, and guts were launched through the air. More soldiers were sent forth, who were just as easily slaughtered. One of the transportation trucks got destroyed as well. The landscape had turned black, with bright fire illuminating the bloody onslaught that took place. But it was only a matter of time before the Germans got a lucky direct hit, and hidden by smoke and dust, one German hit Wardaddy. Their Panzerfaust delivered heavy damage, killing more crew members inside as well as outside when they showed their faces. The SS showed no mercy. Only Norman was left alive, as he hid underneath the tank through a small hatch. The next morning the Germans had left, and Norman had crawled back inside the tank. Daylight then finally revealed the extensive damage and devastation dealt to the SS.